Morning, soulful business owners. It's Allison Crow, and I'm recording episode number 183, which is like really 193, but 183 of my podcast. And my podcast is debuting with a new name, The Wild Edge of Being Human, a podcast for soulful small business owners. And I'm recording on the day we'll release the podcast. So as soon as I finish recording this live stream, I'm going to pop it over to my amazing producer, Elise. By the way, shout out to Elise for my intro music. She custom wrote that. Elise Rich is her name. And I've known that this episode needed to go out today. And I've been shitting all over myself about it. Like, I really need to do this debut episode, making sense and explaining the name change and what the wild edge of being human actually means. And I just got stuck. And so here's an interesting that happened. I came in, I decided I decided a while back in texting with Elise whether or not I was going to just wait until next week because the creative mojo wasn't flowing. And I said, no, I am going to get up and I'm going to get you an episode before 10 o'clock because I'm going to have brunch with my husband and my bonus daughter and her husband. And I came to sit down at my desk. And at my desk is the glorious residue from yesterday's creative spill. And I was like, why don't I just do an episode on values, creating your values list and your credibility list? Because I updated mine yesterday. The new updated version is on my website in a couple places. And it's something I taught my clients last week. And that's what feels easy and flow and creative and where the mojo is. And then it hit me. This is what the wild edge of being human is about. The nuance of not following the shoulds, the nuance of following your creativity instead of the rules or the structure. And believe me, I love having systems. But I don't recommend creating systems for creativity. I recommend using creativity, using systems to support your regular, what you know to be your creativity, right? So anytime it should be this way, this is what I need to do first, this is the order that it needs to be. Anytime I've got those shoulds in there, the system is not supporting my creativity. And so here we are today. So this episode is going to be a quick one. Well, I don't know. Will it be quick? Am I ever concise? But today I want to share with you actually something, there's a lot of episodes about how to, there's a lot of episodes in my podcast about how to emotionally lead yourself. How being a business owner is one of the greatest gifts of personal growth there ever is. And one of the things I want to do on this podcast is both continue those self-leadership conversations, those conversations about literally the edge of being human instead of the narrows, right? The narrows that constrict us, giving ourselves permission to play in discomfort and reality instead of bypassing shit. And I also wanted to, I was thinking of maybe having, actually inspired by my husband's podcast, shout out for my husband's podcast. It's called I'm Not Mad, I'm Irritated. And he's so amazing. His podcasts, this is a little side rabbit, but it's worth it. His podcasts, he doesn't spend a penny on it. He actually makes more money on his podcast because he has patrons and sponsors who sponsor his podcast. And he does his podcast on Anchor. And his brother-in-law made some music for him, and he has little segments, and it is so fun. So he has one segment in the middle of his podcast called the Chalky Chalk Report. And the Chalky Chalk Report is a report on his knees, on how well his knees are doing. And as I was listening to his podcast the other day on the way into town, I was like, wouldn't it be fun no matter what my podcast was if I had some kind of little segment for just a little business mojo. Because one thing I do know, yes, I know the wild edge of being human, a podcast for business owners. Like, this is not titled sell more shit, make more money, capitalism, capitalism, capitalism. No, 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 no. This podcast is for business owners who are absolutely care about creating work that aligns, about creating emotional and financial profit, but not at the expense of our souls. And so, no matter how much I know, and this is one of the foundational beliefs of this podcast, of my work, is that, and I learned it very early in my almost 20-year self-employed career, that the inner work is what makes the outer work work. And so we will be doing a lot of inner work on this. But y'all, I freaking love business. I love it. Y'all know, right? I never had an intention. I never even considered being a business owner until a few weeks before my first husband left me. He was like, hey, why don't you go get your real estate license? You like looking at houses. And I was a teacher at the time, a technology coordinator, and I like technology and I like solving problems and I like teaching, but I didn't know I would like business. And whew, I'm a natural. Anyways, so I don't have a snazzy name for the segments that'll be in the middle, that may or may not be. I don't know. You know me. I'm not predictable. But here's what I do want to do today. I want to share you this concept. One of the things that I see my clients do, and I work with small business owners, a couple of executives. I work with somebody that works at the Pentagon. Shout out if you're listening, wink, wink. Y'all don't even know that. She lives amongst you to my current clients. I work with people that have corporate jobs. I work with mostly service-based or salespeople, but they're all salespeople because sales is life. And I have a couple of product-based business owners. And one of the things that I see all the time with my clients is that they forget their credibility. And sure enough, it's one of the things that one of my coaches said to me that clicked a lot. She was like, own your credibility, Allison, own your credibility. And so there are, in communicating, whether you're communicating with your clients or your prospective clients through marketing, through email, in person, however you do business, your communication is a part of that. Communication is a part of sharing your heart and showing your work. And I was sharing with my clients last week in a workshop in Solis called Content Gold. And I teach them how to make a content gold book. But one of the sections of Content Gold, and really the beginning of the Content Gold, is not like about typical content buckets. It's a part of the end, but part of the beginning is remembering who you really are. Remember who you really are. And so I have them do various sections. And one of the sections I want them to do, and if you haven't done this lately, there's an opt-in on my webpage. And there's a reason there's an opt-in, and it's not just to get your email, it's because it matters for values clarification. And I know all sorts of coaches have values clarifications offers. I don't care if you use mine. Do some kind of values clarification tool, but I want you to do it in a different way. I want you to do it, one, with the persona of you as a human. And then I also want you to do a second time from the embodiment of your business, from the spirit of your business. What are the values of your business? And then I want you to know those two things, know them inside and out. And a couple of years ago, I don't know, maybe even a year ago, I did a values exercise with a colleague friend who is a branding expert, a soulful branding expert. She doesn't really do this. I don't think she does this for the public anymore. but Tiffany helped me walk through a more subconscious values exercise. And I think I've done episodes about this, but some of the values for me in my business aren't, you're not going to see these. Um, you're not going to see these on a typical values exercise. They come from my own language, and y'all, language gives us meaning. So I have a list of my own personal business values, which are human beings, and relationships are important to me. Personal growth, self-trust, self-leadership, creative being and doing, authenticity, in creation, in being and expression. Transparent leadership is huge for me. Clearly, A, I don't have a filter, but B, because I believe that other human beings deserve the truth, no more bullshit. Because when we're comparing our insides to other people's outsides, it makes it really harder to navigate our insides. And many, many years ago, I had an experience where I shared something on a public stage about struggling with depression and anxiety. And my boss at the time was like, I would never have shared that. And I realized in that moment, not in the moment of me sharing, but in the moment of her criticizing that I shared some behind the scenes struggles, that there were hundreds of other leaders that needed permission to both be a fabulous leader and struggling. And so, yes, I'm not always positive Pollyanna. Actually, I think it's all positive, even the difficult stuff. So transparent leadership, no more bullshit, is important to me. Prosperity, emotional prosperity and financial prosperity are important to me. We're gardeners, not machines. And in the business world, there is so much expected out of us machine-wise. Like, we're expected to produce. I was doing this morning with the podcast. I was trying to create a mechanical, formulaic, do this, tell everybody what the new name means. And that's just not in the creative soul right now. This that I'm talking about, creating this chart for yourself, is because I'm a gardener, not a machine. Simplicity, breathe, y'all, fun, play, humor. And so I know you're listening to this on a podcast. Some of you are seeing it visually right now. Don't bitch at me. Or if you bitch at me, I mean, you can bitch at me, but if you bitch at me, that's just a waste of energy. You can see this on the show notes, right? And so what I've created, this is my first one. My one from last year is still, last year is still on the wall. I updated this one this year. And what I'm showing for those who are audio or only is I have this little pretty cute chart that I made just for me. Well, except for I put it on my website too. And it says Allison Crow, Soulful Living LLC, self-leadership, life coaching for the experienced small business owner. And then I wrote on there, these are for me, to remind me that I'm a coach, I'm an author, I'm a teacher, I'm an artist, I'm a speaker, I'm a creative, I'm a philosopher. And then on the left side, I've listed out the values of my business. By the way, the values of your business can be a part of your communication plan. Hello. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say it's super useful and helpful to communicate. And you don't have to say my values are, but when I communicate regularly about humans and relationships, about personal growth, self-leadership, about creative being and doing, about transparent leadership, about emotional and financial prosperity, about being gardeners, not machines, simplicity, breathe, y'all, fun, play, humor, you get the essence of my brand and my business because I'm communicating about those things. Hello, see how that works? And then the other thing, so this, the other side of my little chart, and listen, for those of you not able to see it, I'm wagging it in your ears. The other side is I have this one labeled skills, training, and experience, but I want you to make a credibility list. And a credibility list is a combination of like tactical resume, right? And many of us, when's the last time, self-employed people, you had to make a resume? Have you had to make a resume lately? I've been in business for myself for 20 years. And to get into a program recently, I had to create a curriculum vitae. And it was a very powerful exercise. So I highly recommend that you create a creative resume for yourself, not for your people, but for yourself. I need you to remember, and this goes back to this number one problem that I see, is that my clients have lost connection to their values and to their credibility. And this little chart, this little piece, so I have it on my wall and I also have it at the beginning of my content gold book. I have it in my face all the time. Why? Because as a human being, I'm prone to forget. So I set myself up to remember, and I have updated my skills, training, experience, credibility list. And to me, credibility comes from a couple of things. Credibility, yes, comes from experience and education and time on task, but it also comes from mojo, right? And your less hard skills, right? So I'm going to go ahead and brag. I'm sure that I left some things out, but as of last month, I am 19 years self-employed, and by the way, profitable every single year. That's a big deal to me. Profitable, sustainable. That's another one of my values. I am 17 years as a professional and paid coach. Out of those 17 years, only 2 have been less than 6 figures. And they were my first year and my first year on my own. After that, multi 6 figures. That's for me. That's not necessarily for you. That's for me, right? I am sales and business trained and a trainer. I have trained in the sales, language of sales, handling objections, 1,001 different ways to do sales. There's a song that I often murder with my clients called 29 Ways to Make It to My Baby's Door by, I think, Mark Cohn. Is that right? Ugh. And I'm always thinking 99 ways. My brain thinks in this fun little 99 ways to make it to my baby's door. And my brain thinks in 99 ways to communicate authentically, see, like that, um, genuinely, honestly, transparently, with integrity. Sales, business trained, trainer, and then plus my own experience as a business owner, both the front end, marketing, sales, delivery, operations on the back end. I'm a certified expressive arts facilitator. I'm a certified visual coach. I have a master's in education and educational psychology. I am internal family systems trained. I am compassionate inquiry trained. I have some really unique skills of being hardcore strategic. For as all over the place as I am, you would be blown away by my capacity in the moment to strategize. I'm strategic and soulful. I'm logistic and mystic. And that is a rare combination. I have a bag of tools. I have a lifetime of tools, like a Mary Poppins bag of tools available for myself and available for my clients. Am I able to put those out in a 7-point step? Nope, not going to happen. I'm more like your wild grandmother who has 14 lipsticks in her purse, but can find just the right one for you. And then I also clearly have emotional capacity, like frankly, many coaches don't have, and mystic and intuitive. Profitability and sustainability over time versus fame and celebrity. My business has never really hit any kind of virality or anything like that, but I'm really proud of my profitability and my sustainability. And actually in the future, I look forward to actually increasing my, my net even more. My net income is actually pretty dang good. Even though I spend a lot of money, I could spend way less money. As of December 3rd, I will be a published December 6th, I'll be a published author. I'm funny as fuck, and I have been a keynote speaker. I've not been out of the house in a while, but I have been a keynote speaker on stages up to 10,000 people. I have done tons of corporate training and facilitations and all these other things. And so this little chart, I want you to make one for yourself. And whether you show it to anybody or not doesn't matter. When I first made it, I made it for myself, and I was like, "Hell's yeah, bitches! I'm putting that stuff on my website. Like, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. I am proud of my values, and I'm proud of my skills, training, experience. And sometimes we forget. So that's what I have for you today. Is an opportunity, a call, an invitation for you to remember both your core values and the core values of your business, and that they are powerful communicators in your business, When you live those values, don't try to communicate those values, but live those values, communicate those values naturally, authentically, right? And then please remember and own your credibility. Frankly, I see so many dumbasses out there, like, just puffing up and going empty, and I see so many people with amazing credibility, experience, skills, and they're shrinking and they're hiding. And so I want you, do not be afraid of standing with soulful confidence in your credibility. It's very different from egoic confidence. Very different from what I call big swinging dick. Okay. This is not about slapping your dick on the table and measuring it up with everybody else's and saying how big it is. Thank you, Shelly McNamara. Shout out for the live comment. This is about standing in the 6 C's. I'm sorry, the 8 C's. And y'all know I'm a big internal family systems person. And so this is about staying calm, connected, compassionate, curious, confident, creative, clear, and courageous. Come from, live into, not with perfection, imperfectly, of course, but live into those, own your credibility. I am so grateful at 19 years for every client I've ever worked with. I have worked with 99% awesome people, and I have worked with a few tormentors who have mentored me. That's an IFS term, torment, right? Like tormentors give you the biggest lessons. And I have the fortune, because of social media, to every single day see the names, even if I'm not in relationship, and I can't be in relationship with most of my past clients. It's just not possible. But I see and I notice them and their work out in the world. Human beings that trusted me to work with them. And here we are 19 years later, 17 years of paid coaching. And yes, I have been tired and exhausted and miserable and stressed and joyful all summer long. Is my mojo completely back? Some days I told my podcast producer I feel a little bit like Swiss cheese. I'm kind of hard and crusty and I got a few holes and I am so ready to be Brie again. But I'll tell you, you know what brings back the Brie? Tapping into the essence of the things that I bring to my business for me and then for you. So that's what I got for you today. You can see a copy of mine on my website or on the show notes page on my website. I will post that later today. With that being said, Solis is open for membership. It's application only. I had 7 spots. I sold 2 spots, enrolled 2 new members this week. In the past, Solis has been kind of like you can hit the buy now button. It is a coaching membership. As inflation kind of does what it does, I think Solis is a really fucking economical option for absolutely high quality coaching. And from the very beginning, I've always said that Solis is a $30,000 coaching program for way less. It's $333 a month. And in the past, I try to keep the membership small. Yes, in the past, I wanted it to be really big in this giant math equation, but I want to keep it around 50, 55 members. And we're at 47 right now. So I have a few more spots. I have many members who keep me on retainer. And what that means is they pay every single month to come whenever they want or to pop off a message and ask coach a question. That is fine. But what I am looking for right now is not that. My retainers are perfect. I love them. I'm so grateful for their continued business. Many of them have had me on retainer for 5. We're starting our 6th year of Solis right now. Hello, sustainability. We're starting our 6th year of Solis. But right now I am looking for connection and relationship and engagement. I personally have had a really hard summer and I need something from my clients. I am giving a lot, but I need clients. I thrive as a coach and I'm able to actually give more and be better for my clients when they pick up the tools that we share and do something with them. And so I'm really looking for probably 4 to 5 more members that want to be in connection, that want to be engaged in the community of soulful business owners. We have life and business calls. You can find the information about Soulies and the application at coachwithallison.com. The other thing I want to promote, and I am so proud to promote, even though it's not here, I'm so proud to promote the upcoming release of my book, Unarmored: Finding Home in the Wild Edges of Being Human. I recently received the foreword by one of my mentors, Chris Seidel, and just so deeply touched at the way she saw this creative project, this soul project, this book. I can't wait to bring it to you. If you're on my email list, that is the best way to get information when the book is released. I'm going to be asking for a lot of help from y'all when it does come out, to promote, to share, to buy, to review, to do all those things. It's a gorgeous full color work. It's not just an art book. It's a book that has my art, but it's absolutely a personal growth, inspirational memoir about finding home in the wild edges of being human. And with that, thank you for spending time with me today. If you liked this, hit a comment, hit the love button, review the podcast. I can use some of your fluffing. I think that's a porn term. Could you please fluff me? I need some mojo. I have spent everything I had giving to my family this summer, giving to the care of my dogs, and then having a heart attack. And I'm a words of affirmation person. I'm an engagement person. And anything you can do to high five me helps keep me going. I love you. I hope you will actually create your own little poster, or your own little, I say poster, get out your creativity, get out your markers, create your poster of values and your credibility list. I double dog dare you to share them online, tag me in it. I want to celebrate you. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next week.